slicker brush. We talked about the slicker brush in the comfort part, the first part, and I wanted to detail a few more things as a catch-up for the new ones here, and also why all those features are important in gentle dematting. Because dematting can happen in a way that the doggy's comfort will be sacrificed, like oftentimes when we just use this one without the right type of method. And I'm not really a big fan of this one, by the way. But it can be done in a way that your doodle will love you for doing it. So the slicker brush's features that will aid gentle dematting and detangling are long pins. So you're gonna be able to get to the skin way easier even on a winter coat. And you want the angle to be 150 degree on the brush, like this one. And you want a sparse one, and that's critical from how gentle the experience will be for your doodle. So you want a sparse one. Let me just grab the similar size. This one is a broken one, by the way. This is the same size. So you want a sparse slicker brush that will have less pins on a given surface. This one has half amount of pins than the red one. So you want less pins because your doodle already has crazy amount of hair, and in case you stick a dense brush in the coat like that, it's gonna get stuck so easily. That's why whenever you're brushing the doggy, you are having crazy hard time getting the hair out of the brush, and oftentimes you have to use a comb to get them out because it's just stuck in there. Now imagine your doggy's sensation when it gets stuck in the coat and the dog is still attached to the hair on the other end. So you're just pulling and pulling, and your dog is not going to be happy about it. Even if you're using the Chris Christensen Coral, the big G, this is the big K, but the Coral one has double amount of pins like this guy, but they are longer like this. So even the coral looks super pretty, even though the coral looks super pretty, you're not gonna be doing gentle dematting with that one. You want to get the sparse one, not the dense one. Cool. And whenever it comes to gentle dematting, you don't want to work on the coat with a brush. This is very yucky. This is an old one. My doggy chewed it up and everything. So it's perfect for showing things. You don't want a slicker brush that has balls on the tip, because those little balls will get stuck in tangles and mess and will pull even more on the skin. So your dog will go wild, even though you think that you're going to do good because the little balls on the tip will save the skin. It's not going to do much good for your doggy, and they're going to go wild for the grooming because it just pulls on the skin. So how can you make sure that the skin is safe? I get this question from so many parents. The way to go is getting a big G because it has a little cushion in the middle. If you take a look at my disassembled brush, the other one, this is just the plastic body and the rubber base and all the little pins embedded in there. And that goes on the top of the head, and the frame will go on the top, and that's it. No cushion. Here, on the other hand, there is a really cool cushion in the middle. So whenever you're putting pressure on the doggy's skin, that cushion will save the skin so well that even unexperienced people can get the hang of it without hurting the doggy right at the first brushing time. Now note that if you're working on a sensitive, thin skin, you can still hurt the doggy. So it's not like you can work on 1,000 times on one given spot. You still need to keep an eye on it, just like you can hurt your dog or hurt yourself with a spoon. You don't have to use a knife. So using the right tool will save your doggy's skin. You can hurt the doggy super easily with brushes that don't have this little cushion in the middle. How to handle the slicker brush. There are two things I want you to keep in mind: the sound of the brush and the sensation of the brush. Now, the sound of the brush, what do I mean? Whenever you're working on an area where there are no tangles and no mats, the coat is totally brushed out, this is how it sounds. Whenever you're working on an area where the brush gets stuck in tangles or mats, this is the sound you're gonna get. Now you can imagine with the second sound there comes more sensation to the dog. So you need to use your ears to do gentle brushing, not only the tool and your hands to work on the coat. So keep in mind, this one means tangle and mat free. And this one is tangles mats around. Open up the coat, work a little bit more, do line brushing. Sensations when you are using the brush. From your end, whenever you're using the brush, the sensation that it gets stuck in there and you're having harder time to work on a given surface, that means either the coat is very thick, super curly, or has tangles and mats around. Now keep in mind, if you are having hard time moving the brush in the coat, your doggy will have a hard time handling the sensation on their part, on the other end of the hair, because whenever you're pulling, the pulling sensation will not be absorbed by the brush when you're going hard, but it's gonna end up causing the doggy discomfort, so they're not gonna love the results, so they're gonna wiggle or bite the brush or you. And how can you prevent that? The way how you handle the brush is also another key. Whenever I'm brushing, I do line brushing first thing first. I do line brushing, so it's gonna be less hair I'm working on. That's critical. Another thing is whenever I do line brushing, I work from the tip of the hair my way up to the base of the hair towards the skin. So it's not like I'm putting it to the skin and moving it downwards away from the skin, but I'm working my way up on the doggy's hair towards the skin, like that. And whenever you combine less hair with working from the tip of the hair towards the skin, the sensation will be even less for your doggy, so they're gonna be happier and more cooperative. What is the slicker brush for? To remove and loosen up tangles and mats, also to find them, so I'm gonna be aware that they are there. I love to use it to get doggies trained to the sensation of getting brushed. I use it to remove plant parts, sticker burrs, whatnot from the coat. Also use it while I'm blow drying to do stretch drying, so the coat will be nice and straight, so I'm gonna be able to do an even haircut on the doggy. And after the blow drying, I use it to loosen up the coat, so it's gonna be nice and fluffy and loose and will go in one direction, so the haircut will be amazingly even. So it is part of the haircut preparation tool list as well.